All right, buckle up, buttercups. You survived the mitochondria meltdown in our last video on study hacks. Still think they're tiny alien power plants, TBH. But now it's time for the ultimate boss battle. Test anxiety. It's like your brain's doing the Macarena while your palms are sweating like they just ran a marathon in a sauna. Sound familiar? Yeah, I thought so. It's the academic equivalent of your internet going down right when you're about to win an online game. Infuriating. Before we dive into this panic pool party, remember those epic study hacks we dropped last time? Seriously, that video is like getting cheat codes for your brain. Go watch it if you haven't. We covered active recall, spaced repetition, the whole 9 yards. Those aren't just suggestions. They're your armor against the anxiety dragon. But let's be real. Even with the best study game, sometimes that anxiety gremlin shows up uninvited, like that weird cousin at a family reunion. So, what is this freak out, this test anxiety? Simply put, it's your brain hitting the emergency eject button for absolutely no logical reason. It goes beyond the normal pre-test jitters. It's a full-blown circus of physical and emotional chaos that can turn your test-taking skills into mashed potatoes. Recognizing the signs is like knowing your phone's about to die at 1%. You gotta be aware to plug that sucker in. What does this anxiety monster feel like? It's a personalized horror show, but there are some common themes. Physically, you might feel like you chugged 5 energy drinks and then tried to outrun a cheetah. Your heart might be doing a drum solo worthy of a rock concert, and you'll be sweating more than a TikTok star doing a viral dance challenge in July. Some people get so short of breath, they feel like they're trying to breathe through a coffee stirrer. Others get a headache that makes them want to wear a construction helmet inside. Or, you might get so nauseous you regret that questionable gas station burrito you ate last week. The shakes might hit you like you're standing naked in the Arctic. Or you might feel dizzy, like you just got off the teacup ride at Disneyland, or even feel like you're about to faint. Others experience random hot or cold flashes. It's as if your internal thermostat is being controlled by a toddler with a remote. And let's not forget muscle tension, feeling like you're hugging a grizzly bear 24/7, plus that delightful feeling of being utterly exhausted even though you haven't moved from your chair in hours. In super intense cases, test anxiety can even trigger full-blown panic attacks. Basically, your brain throwing a toddler-level tantrum of epic proportions. But it's not just physical. Emotionally, test anxiety is like watching a rom-com where the main character gets dumped while also waiting for a text back from your crush and realizing you forgot to do your laundry. It's a messy cocktail of stress, pure fear of failing so badly your future self will cringe, and a general sense of, why is this happening to me? You might feel totally helpless and super bummed, especially if you actually studied. Remember those hacks? Then, the negative thought ninjas arrive, whispering things like, you're gonna fail, you're not smart enough, and your pet hamster has a higher IQ than you. Sometimes, your brain just goes completely blank, like someone hit the delete button on your knowledge. Or, you get a million thoughts racing at once, making it impossible to focus. It's like your brain is hosting a rave while you're trying to remember the quadratic formula. Other emotional treats include feeling super irritable, doubting yourself more than a politician's promises, feeling hopeless like you're trapped in a Groundhog Day loop of exams, feeling utterly inadequate, or even feeling angry or defeated, like you just lost a game of Monopoly to your little sibling. Why does your brain decide to throw this epic tantrum? A huge part is that good old fear of failure. When you start thinking your test score is the sole measure of your worth, your brain's pressure cooker starts to whistle louder than a tea kettle on fire. Feeling unprepared, as we emphasized in our last video, cranks that anxiety up to 11, and those past test-taking traumas we mentioned, they can fuel future anxiety fires. And that inner critic loves to show up uninvited, doesn't it? Positive self-talk, as we discussed, is your secret weapon. Like having a tiny cheerleader in your head, battling the tiny gremlin with a megaphone. Setting impossibly high expectations, like thinking you need a perfect score to be worthy of oxygen, is another surefire way to invite anxiety to the party. Pressure from parents, teachers, and even yourself to get those A-plus grades can pile on the anxiety, like adding extra weight to an already overloaded backpack. And comparing yourself to others? That's like pouring gasoline on the anxiety fire. On a physiological level, your body's natural fight-or-flight response kicks in when it senses stress, like, a giant test. This releases adrenaline, causing all those physical symptoms. Lack of self-care is a big factor, too. Remember, we stressed the importance of sleep and nutrition in our study hacks video. They're crucial for regulating your body's stress response. Think of it this way. Your body is a car. If you don't give it the right fuel, food, and sleep, it's going to sputter and break down when you need it most. So, how do we slay this test anxiety beast? Feeling prepared is key, and those study hacks from the last video are your superpowers. But there are also specific ninja moves for the days and hours before the test, and even during it, to keep that anxiety gremlin caged. In the days leading up to the exam, a consistent routine is your secret weapon, giving you a sense of control. Remember planning your study time? That applies to your pretest routine too. Get those last-minute questions answered by your teacher. We stress that. Practice relaxation techniques like deep breathing, a chill pill for your brain. Visualizing success, as we discussed, is like mentally rehearsing your victory dance. And plan something fun for after the test. You deserve it. Make a checklist of everything you need so you're not scrambling. In the hours right before the test, avoid that friend who's freaking out. Their anxiety is contagious. And unleash that positive self-talk. It's your personal hype man. On the morning of the test, get a good night's sleep. We drilled that in. Eat a decent breakfast. Remember those brain-boosting foods? Skip the mega-sized coffee. Too much caffeine can sometimes amplify anxiety. Get to the test location early to avoid feeling rushed. Light exercise can burn off nervous energy. We talked about those focus benefits. Practice a quick relaxation technique and unleash that positive self-talk again. You got this. Briefly review key concepts, but avoid last-minute cramming. During the exam, you've still got tools. Remember those calming breaths? Use them. Read the directions. Seriously, it helps. Budget your time. Start with easier questions to get rolling and don't get stuck. Challenge negative thoughts with positive coping statements. A mental duel with your inner critic. Focus on the question at hand and remember it's okay to feel a little nervous. It's normal. If your mind goes blank, write down anything related to the question. It might trigger your memory. And don't freak out if others finish early. It's not a race. After the exam, reflect. What went well? What can you learn? Reward yourself regardless of the grade. Don't dwell on mistakes. See them as learning opportunities. One test does not define you. Finally, if your test anxiety is seriously messing with your life, please reach out for help. Talk to a trusted adult, a parent, teacher, counselor, anyone. They can offer support and resources. There's no shame in asking for help. So there you have it. Test anxiety is a real beast, but you're a beast slayer. You've got the study hacks, the in-the-moment strategies, and the knowledge of when to call for backup. You got this. Now, if this video helped you feel even a little less like you're going to explode before your next test, smash that like button, subscribe for more real talk, and share this with anyone who could use a little help conquering their test anxiety demons. Peace out.